Hey, what's up, everybody? Coming to you from a different location today. So I apologize for the server noise in the background if that does get a little bit annoying. So today I want to talk to you about cloning your machine. It's a good way to move all your data from one drive to another if you are either upgrading your drive or if your drive is dying, or if you're moving over to a solid state, which is actually what we're doing today. So there's a bunch of different reasons why you might want to do it, and this is how I prefer to do it. All this means is that we're going to take everything from one drive and move it over to another drive. In this case, it's going to matter what software we are using because we're moving from a 2 terabyte drive to a 240 gigabyte drive. The 2 terabyte drive is a 5400 RPM, very slow mechanical hard drive, and the new drive is a crucial 2.5-inch solid state drive. So the user doesn't need a whole lot of available space, just basic programs and occasionally maybe a video here and there. So that's why I'm very comfortable giving them a 240 gigabyte drive. It's going to cover everything they need it to cover. So all that aside, the software which we've chosen is very important because some softwares will not allow you to move from a larger drive to a smaller drive.
Hey guys, so as I'm editing this video, I'm realizing that I mentioned the importance of the software that I'm using like 16 times, and I never actually mentioned the name of the software. So the name of the software is EaseUs ToDo Backup. I probably put it in there somewhere originally and then cut it out, and this cut just doesn't have it, so I apologize for that. Also, I got a haircut. But yeah, so EaseUs ToDo Backup is the product. The link is in the description below. Back to the video.
Okay, so this is actually giving me the option, since I just installed this on this computer, to create an emergency disk, which is what you would want if you were going to create a backup and then boot from the disks. So you can do this to a flash drive with an ISO file and make that bootable like we did before with our Ubuntu distro, or you can do it the old way and put it on a CD or DVD. And for a lot of modern computers that don't have CD or DVD drives, you're going to need an external one. So once you've got ToDo Backup installed, it should look just like this. You're going to go third option from the bottom here. It says clone if you hover over it. And all we have to do here is select our old disk, which is our 2 terabyte. Click next. Select the new disk, which is the 240 gig unallocated disk. I do like to select advanced options and optimize for SSD. And do not ever check the sector by sector clone if you're moving over to a smaller disk. If you do select this, it's expecting the same or a larger disk, and it's going to go on every single sector of your existing drive and copy that sector over to the new disk. So you cannot do this with from a larger to a smaller drive. Smaller to larger is fine, just not larger to smaller. And hit next. And that's it. So this is going to give us a graphical representation of how much space we have currently on the existing disk and on the new disk. So even though the new disk is much smaller, we still have a decent amount of space to work with afterwards. Now, one quick thing to check before we go forward with this. Open a command prompt, open your start menu, type CMD, and then Control-Shift-Enter, or you can right-click and run it as administrator. And we're going to go to disk part, and we're going to list disk. So this is going to show us both of the disks that we have, the current one that's in the machine and the one that we're cloning to. And both of these have an asterisk under GPT. What will happen sometimes is when you get a new disk, it will be GPT or it will be MBR once it's actually formatted. And the disk in your computer may be GPT or may be MBR. Now, if these things are not identical when you clone over, you will not be able to boot from the new disk. So you'll do all the work of cloning over, you'll put your disk in, you'll boot up, and nothing will happen. So we have to make sure they are both GPT or MBR. Now you're going to base this on what the old computer is. This existing computer here is GPT. If it's an MBR, then this will not be checked. There won't be an asterisk here. So then you have to make sure that your other drive also does not have an asterisk. I'll just change it to an MBR right now. MBR. Okay, so that takes all of a quarter second to finish. So now I will show you, if we list disk again, you'll see that that little asterisk is gone underneath GPT. So now one is GPT, one is MBR. If I were to clone this right now, I would not have a functional boot drive once I swapped over. So what I'm going to do is spell things correctly. Select disk 1 again, and I'm going to convert GPT. No, not GPR, GPT. Enter. Okay, so now if I list disk again, you'll see that we once again have an asterisk for both. And proceed. Yes, I know. Thank you. Okay, now down at the bottom, our last option here, shut down once the operation is complete. You don't have to select this, but I always do, just because once the operation is complete, I'm going to shut the computer down anyway and swap the disks. So once this shuts down, I'll see the computer shut down. I'll know my operation is complete. So we're going to let this run, and I will see you guys on the other side.
Okay, so that took a while. I actually left for the day, and today is tomorrow. Tomorrow's today. Yesterday's it's the next day. Hi. So anyway, we are about to boot it up again. I'm gonna swap the drives, then boot it up again, and make sure everything worked out. Okay, here we go. Fingers crossed. We got Windows. Someday. Excellent. We're back up. So as you can see, while it does take a lot of time, it doesn't necessarily take an enormous amount of effort, and EaseUs is an excellent program that facilitates this entire cloning process. They also have backup software, partition software. I'm probably going to go over all of it because it is one of the few software suites that I actually purchased instead of finding a freeware workaround, because I use it so frequently and it just works so well. All their products, I have had many uses for them in the past, and hopefully will in the future as well, because I actually spent money on them. So anyway, guys, you know where the button is. You know where the bell is. If you want to keep on seeing what I'm doing, smash them both. If you don't, then don't. Thanks for watching, though. Have a good one.